Snoop Dogg, one of the most recognizable and beloved figures in hip-hop. From his laid-back flow to his smooth persona, he became a rap icon with an unmistakable style. But behind the image of a weed-loving, fun-having superstar lies a darker past, one that nearly cost him everything. At the height of his rise to fame, Snoop Dogg wasn't just rapping about the gangster lifestyle, he was living it. And in 1993, he found himself at the center of a murder trial that could have sent him to prison for life. The media frenzy was relentless. Was Snoop Dogg just another gangster rapper glorifying violence? Or was there something deeper to the story? And the biggest question of all, was this a case of self-defense or a cold-blooded killing that was swept under the rug? The truth behind Snoop Dogg's murder trial is more twisted than most people realize. The shooting that changed everything. It was August 1993, and Snoop Dogg was at the peak of his career. His debut album, Doggy Style, was about to drop, and he had already become one of the biggest names in rap. But then, everything came crashing down. That night, Snoop and his bodyguard, McKinley Malik Lee, were driving through a Los Angeles neighborhood in Snoop's Jeep. According to reports, they got into a heated confrontation with Philip Woldemariam, a 20-year-old member of a rival gang. What happened next remains one of the most controversial moments in hip-hop history. Witnesses claim Woldemariam and his crew had been eyeing Snoop's Jeep earlier that day, leading to tensions escalating. Some accounts suggest there had been previous altercations between the two groups, adding fuel to an already volatile situation. As words were exchanged, things quickly turned deadly. According to Snoop's defense team, Woldemariam reached for a weapon. In a matter of seconds, gunfire erupted. When the smoke cleared, Woldemariam lay dead on the ground, shot in the back. Snoop and his bodyguard fled the scene, knowing the police would soon be after them. But in a world where gang violence was rampant, this wasn't just another shooting. It was a murder case that would put Snoop Dogg on trial for his very life. The trial of the century. Was it murder? The prosecution wasted no time in building a case against Snoop Dogg, determined to prove that this was not an act of self-defense. It was an execution. Their most damning piece of evidence? Woldemariam had been shot in the back, indicating that he was running away when the fatal bullet struck him. If he had been the aggressor, why would he be fleeing the scene instead of standing his ground? Prosecutors painted Snoop Dogg as more than just a rapper. They argued that he was a gang-affiliated criminal who glorified street violence in his music. They even attempted to use his own lyrics as evidence, claiming that his songs reflected a real-life gangster mentality. In their eyes, he and his bodyguard had deliberately hunted down Woldemariam in an act of premeditated retaliation. But the defense had a completely different story. According to Snoop Dogg and his legal team, this wasn't murder, it was survival. They claimed that Woldemariam had a gun and was ready to use it, posing a serious and immediate threat. They argued that Malik Lee acted in self-defense, firing the fatal shots to protect Snoop from an imminent attack. However, what really raised eyebrows was the way the case was handled. During the trial, the prosecution struggled to present undeniable proof that the shooting wasn't self-defense. Crucial evidence was either inconclusive or missing, and witness testimonies conflicted, some supporting the prosecution's claim of an execution, others backing the defense's argument that Woldemariam was the aggressor. For nearly 3 years, Snoop Dogg's life hung in the balance. If convicted, he faced the possibility of a life sentence, which would have ended his career before it had truly begun. Then, in a dramatic and highly publicized turn of events, the jury delivered their verdict. Not guilty. The aftermath. A murder that disappeared? Snoop Dogg walked away a free man, but the case left behind lingering doubts that never fully faded. Why did the jury clear him of all charges, despite the victim being shot in the back? Did Snoop's fame and influence help him escape a murder conviction that might have ruined an ordinary person's life? Some believe the LAPD botched the case, failing to gather enough solid evidence to secure a conviction. Others argue that the prosecution simply couldn't prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the shooting was a deliberate execution rather than self-defense. Then there were the conspiracy theories. Whispers that powerful figures in the music industry may have worked behind the scenes to protect Snoop, ensuring his career didn't end behind bars. After all, he was on the verge of becoming one of rap's biggest superstars, and there was too much money on the line for labels, producers, and executives to let him fall. There was also the larger cultural conversation happening at the time. Rap music had been under fire for its violent lyrics, with politicians and media figures blaming gangsta rap for glorifying crime. Some saw the trial as a way to make an example out of Snoop, turning him into the face of rap's so-called criminal influence on young listeners, from murder trial to cultural icon. Despite the trial, Snoop Dogg's career didn't just survive, it thrived. He distanced himself from the gang-related violence of his past and reinvented his image. He became a businessman, an actor, and even an unexpected mainstream figure, collaborating with artists from pop to country. But make no mistake, Snoop never fully abandoned the gangster persona. Instead, he found a way to control the narrative. He turned himself into a household name, appearing in commercials, movies, and even cooking shows with Martha Stewart. The same media that once painted him as a dangerous criminal now embraced him as a lovable cultural icon. Yet for those who followed the case closely, questions remain. The public largely forgot about Snoop Dogg's murder trial, but the family of Philip Woldemariam never did. His death remains a painful memory, and many still believe justice was never served. So, was Snoop Dogg truly innocent? Or was this a case where money, fame, and power helped a rapper walk free? The world may never know. The case that still haunts hip-hop. Snoop Dogg's murder trial remains one of the most shocking and controversial cases in music history. Some say he was lucky to walk free. Others believe he was a victim of the system, dragged into a trial he never should have faced. But one thing is certain. This case changed hip-hop forever. It forced the world to confront the real violence behind the music and blurred the lines between rap lyrics and real life. What do you think? Was Snoop Dogg truly innocent? Or was there something much bigger at play? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into the biggest secrets in music history.